Welcome back everybody. Are we in for a smooth ride? I doubt it. It's probably going to derail. We've got a backscene to fit. So I've done a little bit of prep work off camera. With ID Backscenes, they come with a white border on the top, the bottom and both sides. I've trimmed it off this side and I've trimmed it off the bottom. I've left it on the top and I've left it on this side. Simply because it's too wide and it's too long, so I need to trim the excess off anyway. So now the top of the board comes to about here, just after the building. My original plan was to trim some of this sort of car park, concretely ground away to bring the building down a bit, but I actually quite like it there. It gives a sense of sort of distance, and when I flip the board up and this is fit, I'll explain why I've decided to keep that so wide. Self-adhesive, so all we should really need is something to smooth it out with, so I've got a cloth just to help eliminate any bubbles. This is where I spend 10 minutes trying to peel it back. With ID Backscenes you get a total of 3 metres. So these are 1.5 metre sections. So if it does go wrong, like it did the first time I tried it with the other backscene, I have got a backup plan. Fresh blade. We'll just go handheld for a minute and I'll bring you in closer. How did I find that? 100 times easier for sure. The hard bit was getting it level. So if you can see in the bottom corner, it does run onto the bottom board a little bit. Well, I'm impressed with that. ID Backscene self-adhesive is definitely the way forward, and that's what I'll be using in future. I've trimmed it off and tidied it up around the bottom, all the way around. This bit here, I know it looks like a bubble, but it's not. There's nothing there. It just seems to be how the pattern is going around the corner, and it just looks like a bubble, but I promise you there's nothing there. No bubble anyway. So my next stage now is I need to do a little bit of tidying up track and cork wise. So this area here, I'm going to trim this track back probably to about here. Obviously get rid of this piece of cork as well, and that gives me a fairly good body for scenery work. Down here I'm going to trim off probably about 3 sleepers here, and again remove the cork, and then that gives me another body to work with scenery wise, because it sort of dawned on me that I've not left myself a lot of room, but I can't really fit that much on, which is a little bit disappointing, but I can work with it. We'll make it work. It'll definitely represent the scrapyard. That was my knuckles on the table. The joys of copy decks. No mark whatsoever. Rubberised, so it lifts very easily, but it's very hard to get it starting to lift. And a metal ruler, just for the rigidity to pop it up. One of the hard parts about fitting that back scene, honestly, that corner was fairly easy, and somewhere around here it came off centre and started coming onto the bottom. So by the time I got up here and got to this corner, there was probably about so much coming onto the bottom board, so it was quite difficult to get that on. But bit of persuasion, I 100% would recommend these. They're not the cheapest, but they are definitely worth it, and the photo quality as well, like, you can't argue with that, can you? Why have I left so much of this? Well, it's a scrapyard. It's the whole back bit is going to have a fence running along. It's going to be, I think I'm going to go with a corrugated rusty fence, so that fence is probably going to come up to about so high, and again it's going to help with that sort of sense of distance, that depth of field. This is what I mean by I've not left myself a lot of room scenery wise. I've put the office in over there. I built that a while back. I've got the grab handler. I do have a magnetic attachment for it. I weathered that probably 18 months ago when I was first learning weathering. But I've not got a great deal of room. Now, see, I couldn't even get away with it there either, really. It's a bit annoying, and I should have thought about this earlier, but until things start happening, you sort of don't realise it until it hits you in the face, and it's usually too late. If anybody has got any ideas on what I could maybe do, the only thing crossing my mind at the moment is to get rid of this, change that to a Y point, possibly shorten this to about this sort of length. That gives me sort of this much room to work with scenery wise, and of course on this side, if I get rid of this, I've got that much room to work with. But if that's switched out to a Y point, I don't know. I need some help and I need some input, really. I'll have a word with my uncle, I'll speak to Alan. If you guys have got any ideas, chuck them down in the comments. It's been a short video because that back scene was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We're getting there with a few hurdles along the way. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.